on YouTube. Please kindly subscribe, like, and share. The conversation we intend to have today is very imperative, very important, and it's also concerning. And I had to talk about it because I have been seeing a lot of takes on the issue that is trending concerning Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern by the United States government headed by President Donald Trump. And there have been quite a number of assertions, speculations, propaganda attached to it. And it is important that no one is distracted from what the real crux of the matter is. For the APC supporters, I understand you trying to protect the government. I understand you trying to protect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because you think that this is an agenda to topple his government. Now, let's go back in memory, or let's go back in time. Before the 2015 elections, Boko Haram was murdering and killing people in the north, particularly targeted Christian communities. Way back in 2009, 2010, that's 2010, they killed about 500 Christians in the north. Their names are written down on a plaque in the graveyard. So the situation of targeting Christians, it didn't even start now. And it didn't even start in 2010. It didn't start in 2009. It started way back as the 1970s, 1980s. It started off as communal clashes, religious intolerance between Muslims and Christians, especially in predominantly northern Islamic religious regions in Nigeria. And it was terrible at the time. The imposition of Sharia law, Christians not having an opportunity to breathe, situations could just escalate and it become a Christian-Muslim situation. It took a long time for calm to return in certain communities in the north. Do you understand what I'm saying? It took a long time for calm to return in certain communities in the north. Now, what is the context of the conversation? A few days ago, President Donald Trump actually designated as a country of particular concern. I'm sure a couple of us have been following up with the situation with insecurity in the country. It started off as the genocidal killings of Christians in Nigeria from a particular senator, Ted Cruz, followed by Riley Moore and a couple of other U.S. senators saying that there's a genocide against Christians in Nigeria. A couple of people wondered why that clamor just became so sudden. It was too sudden, too fast. The Nigerian government quickly debunked it. The supporters of the government quickly debunked it. Everybody came out to say that's not true. The killings and insecurity in Nigeria is not targeted at a particular religious group, or it's not targeted at a particular religious affiliation. It's targeted across board. Okay, but some things that some Nigerians forgot to address was the fact that there is insecurity and there is a lackluster attitude from the government to handle this. It really got so bad. Kidnapping is on the rise, brazenly done daily. There's no condemnation. People are killed, and government representatives don't come out to denounce it. Don't come out to distance themselves from it. Don't come out to say, oh, this is wrong. We condemn it in totality. The president does not even give any firm affirmation to the military to say, I need you guys to rout out these individuals as fast as possible. There is absolute silence from Aso Rock, absolute silence from the defense quarters, absolute silence from the Air Force and the Naval base. We've seen killings of our young soldiers in their bases, and we've heard about the politicization of Nigeria's military. Yet, it's dumbfounding to see how the government of the day is acting like there is a target against them. Okay, so let's look at the perspective and what is the recent situation on ground. The United States of America, headed by Donald Trump, on Saturday threatened to deploy military forces in Nigeria if the alleged genocide against Christians is not stopped in the country. Trump, in a post on his Truth Social platform on Saturday, directed the Department of War to prepare for possible action if the killings continues unabated. The U.S. president also threatened to halt all aid and assistance to Nigeria if President Bola Tinubu's administration failed to end the alleged persecution and killing of Christians. He says, and I quote, I am hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. Now, the president-led government is yet to respond to the threat. But however, the president eventually responded. And he said that Nigeria is not necessarily an uncomfortable place. I'm sure you guys have all seen what the president wrote. A couple of people felt that was not too firm enough. A couple of people felt the response of the Nigerian government was too hasty. But the thing is, in less than 24 hours that Trump released this, the Nigerian government responded. But when they hear that people have been killed, people are dying, people are being hurt, murdered and slaughtered, they don't respond, they're quiet. It is Nigerians on social media who call the attention of the president to what is happening on ground or to the situation on ground. Why is this concerning actually? And why should everybody be concerned? Okay, a couple of persons have decided to attach politics to the whole thing and tribe to the whole thing. I was on X since yesterday. You wouldn't believe that young Nigerians that you think are smart and intelligent, who should understand possibly some conspiracy theory involved in this, or who should even understand the fact that they ought to hold the government accountable for the incessant killings. Guess who they have been targeting? Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar. In fact, they went as far as ethnicizing the whole thing by calling out the Igbos, specifically the Southeasterners, that it is their account that has been asking for Trump to invade Nigeria, that it is the Igbos that have been asking for an attack of the American government to take over the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, because the Igbos are not happy that their messiah is not in Aso Rock, that's why they want Nigeria to burn to ashes, or they want Nigeria to disintegrate. Hello, how can you guys be this mentally and your oblongata is dumb? I'm sorry to use these words. I'm literally angry at our youth. Just because you're supporting the government, you are literally berserk. This is Estic Media. Please kindly subscribe. This is my channel, and I will say my truth here. I'm not on radio where I need to be circumspect and moderate and be on a neutral ground. It is so dumbfounding to see our young youth be disparate, be mentally and intellectually eroded, that they cannot for once in their lives think and be free from the slavery they have deliberately put themselves, because they are gobbling and sucking the feet of the government of the day for scraps. How much are you getting? For goodness sake, wake up from your slumber. You're supporting the APC, no problem. But for once, be objective. Insecurity is on the rise. The government of the day has been nonchalant about it. What you're supposed to tell the government to do is to, as soon as possible, rout out these individuals. It took a military rumor for the president to change his security cabinet. It took the rumor about a military coup for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to know that he needed to change the entire service chiefs. We know that this insecurity in Nigeria is highly politicized. The UAE gave the Nigerian government, under late Muhammadu Buhari, 400 names of persons sponsoring Boko Haram in this country, sponsoring insecurity in this country. Do you know that the Nigerian government refused to release these names? The Nigerian government pets and reintegrates terrorists. They lobby with terrorists. They beg them to please don't kill the people, and they reintegrate them into the communities. They provide shelter for them. They give them housing and accommodation. And those guys come in their numbers with bikes and tricycles with weapons. Now, the US has found out that most of the weapons being given to the Nigerian government to help fight insecurity lands in the hands of these terrorists. Like literally lands in the hands of these terrorists. They have their data. Nobody is saying that insecurity started under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. It's just 2 years. We know that. And the burden in Nigeria is overwhelming for one person to handle. The first thing I expected President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do when he became the president was to call on non-Nigerians and say, let's work as one. We are one together, and let's fight for the productivity and growth of this nation. Everyone, regardless of your religion and tribe, is inclusive. Do you know what the supporters of Tinubu's government did? They decided to bring in tribalism, nepotism, and hatred in the polity. Everything you try to criticize the government of the day on, they say it's because he's a Yoruba man. Do you know it became so bad that aides working for the government literally ethnicize every conversation on social media by Nigerian youth? They doused the problem of the day and focus wholly on politics for every reason. There is acidic hate. There is tribalism, nepotism, corruption is thriving. That was the first thing this government was supposed to address. You have a Bayo Onaniga, a presidential aide, supporting tribalism, supporting corruption, supporting nepotism. They never call it out. They are supporting some elements on social media to drive divisive politics instead of them to call for a cohesion. And now the US government has designated Nigeria a country of particular concern. Instead of these individuals to call on the action of the government, they decided to furthermore put fire by destabilizing the policy and ethnicizing everything. How can you, in the sake of God, do that kind of thing at this point in time? You're now calling on Peter Obi to say something. Is Peter Obi your president? Is Peter Obi your president, for goodness sake? Is Atiku Abubakar your president? Certain persons have been calling out. You now blame that it is the Igbos that make Mike Arnold. Who brought Mike Arnold to Nigeria? It's not Renal Mokri. Is Renal Mokri not a supporter of this government? Mike Arnold decided to expose Renal Mokri, his lies and his deceit. Who was the first person to call that there is a genocidal cleansing against Christians in Nigeria? It was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He tweeted it when he was in opposition. Former Aviation Minister Fani Kaide tweeted that there is an existential crisis of Christians in Nigeria. This same Renal Mokri tweeted it. So how come you guys are blaming people, calling out for the truth, and you're trying to make it seem as if it's an ethnic thing? For once in your life, this APC government, these APC supporters, don't ruin Tinubu's government. I will blame you for the deliberate tag of hostility, acidic hatred, nepotism, tribalism, and corruption on Tinubu's government. You guys refuse to say the truth. Now you're now asking that all Nigerians from all ethnic group, from all ethnicities should come together and make sure we stand as one and denounce what the Americans are doing because it is wrong. Now you know it is wrong. But before you say no, let's do away with the Igbos. They're insignificant in this country. We don't want them. You went to several spaces, international spaces, calling and trying to tag the Igbos as terrible people. Now you believe that we all as Nigerians should put our differences together and make sure that the American government does not divide us. You have divided the polity. You started your administration with divisive politics. You divided the polity with hatred, and you want everyone to collectively speak with one voice now. I'm literally angry because you people refuse to understand what is on your face. We internally, we have caused a crisis amongst ourselves. We have divided ourselves. Some people don't want to be part of Nigeria. Some people feel they're isolated and excluded. And it is brazen and it is public. The APC government is not hiding it, especially under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You're not hiding your divisive politics. You're not hiding your hatred. How can you run a government of division when you are the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? You don't have a particular region that you're supposed to show a certain form of attention to. You show attention to all regions, regardless of their discrepancies, regardless of the fact that they did not vote for you. I cannot understand why everyone is running away from the truth. I cannot comprehend why people are trying to cover up the truth just because they're supporting the president. During Buhari's time, Christians were killed. It's just that now the situation of insecurity has morphed. So they don't look at ethnicity anymore. They kill Muslims, they kill Christians. But this existential crisis of Christian murdering, it's not today, and it didn't start under Tinubu's government. What you should ask the government is, what is your next step to making sure that Boko Haram, ISWAP, Wulo Wulo, Lakurawa, Mahmuda, all of them are destroyed? That is the big question. What are you doing to ensure that all of these elements are destroyed? Can you believe in a country where a community is being routed out, people are being killed, the government will keep quiet? The government will keep quiet. The government will not say a word. The government will shut up. It took Donald Trump speaking out, and every government agent is coming out to talk. All their social media handles, even some northern politicians and their social media handles are now very active. People that used to be quiet when these elements of darkness have been killing people. Even the northern influencers don't even call out when Boko Haram kills, when they murder, when they slaughter, when they do their crimes. These individuals will hide in their handles and keep quiet. Instead, they will divert the attention to Peter Obi. So Peter Obi talks about issues. You complain that Peter Obi is a man of doom, is a person that brings out bad news. Has Peter Obi not been tweeting against insecurity in this government? Has Peter Obi not been tweeting against divisive politics? Has not been tweeting against the tribalism and corruption in this country? And anytime he does that, people call him Mr. Bajiwe, Agotikuyo, all forms of names. Now you want him to speak. Is he your president? Is Atiku Abubakar your president? Are they in charge of government? Do they occupy any ministry, parastatal, or agency? They are private individuals. APC people, for goodness sake, you people are the ones ruining Tinubu's government. You followers of APC. It is you, APC followers, APC supporters. It is you people that have ruined the government of Tinubu, Jonathan. Do you know that Tinubu went along with Amechi now that is in the ADC, and a couple of other northern influential persons and politicians traveled to the United States to meet U.S. Secretary of State at the time, John Kerry? Do you know that? Do you know that? Tinubu traveled. John Kerry came to Nigeria at the time. This was prior to the 2015 elections. Why are you people acting like you don't know what is happening? Why are you being pretentious? When Tinubu was in opposition, he did worse. He did literally worse. If he was the one in opposition, he would have milked what is happening now in this government. Tinubu would have milked it out. I am telling you the truth, no kidding. I'm angry. I'm angry. Why do you see the truth and run away from it? Why do you see the truth and pretend like you don't know that this is the truth? You're holding ordinary Nigerians who are expressing their reality. You're holding them accountable for insecurity in the government. Are you for real? Nobody is saying that the US has any best interest at heart. Omoyele Shere said something on Twitter. I agree that yes, the US can have their own terrible means of dividing and conquering. Oh, no doubt about it. But the thing is, there is a call for the government of the day to pay attention to the killings in Nigeria. And maybe this will make the government of the day wake up to its responsibility of protecting the lives and properties of Nigerians and not make it harder. Everything is not politics. Everything is not propaganda. And everything is not conspiracy theories. The families who have gone through these killings can share their experiences. There are Muslims that have been killed in this mayhem. Very true. But for the existential crisis of Christians, it has started way back in time. Since the 1960s, since the 70s and the 80s, it has been happening. So making Nigeria a country of particular concern, what should the Nigerian government do? Immediately by denouncing it and making sure that you prove that indeed you are concerned about the lives and protection of your people. By doing what? Strategically looking at a means through which you can rout out these elements of darkness. That is what the Nigerian government is supposed to do and commit itself to. The US government has found that all the arms that they have been bringing into this country, all the arms they've been assisting Nigerians with, ends up in the hands of these terrorists. How did it get there? Who is supplying them? You want to tell me that the government of the day doesn't know those who are actually sponsoring terrorism in this country? Is that what you were telling me? And we are here pretending that we don't know what all this is all about. And instead of you to hold the government accountable and tell the government that this is a clarion call, wake up to your responsibility, stop politicking. 2027 is still 2 years ahead. And make sure that your name is put in a cup of gold, or in a plaque of gold. Oh no, the Nigerian government is not saying that. Instead, the APC jingoids are busy going up and down, calling out the Igbos and calling out Peter Obi. Are you for real, you guys? I thought that they said the youth of the day are quite intelligent and smart. You are so disappointed. You are extremely disappointed for your line of thought and thinking to be in this manner. Can you imagine that? What has a Peter Obi got to do with this? What has Igbo got to do with this? What kind of influence does Peter Obi have that Donald Trump will listen to him? Renewal Mockery went and disgraced himself and his entire lineage by bringing somebody that he thought was going to supposedly protect the Nigerian government's image, but instead the whole thing backfired and nobody sent him message. You're now blaming the Igbos for this and blaming Peter Obi for it. This is the time you're supposed to call on all and sundry and say, you know what, let's hold the government accountable. President Bola Tinubu's government proved to us that indeed you are not protecting terrorism. You're not protecting Islamization of Nigeria. And then for our Muslim brothers and sisters, this is the time for you to denounce and distance yourself from the insecurity being perpetrated and the mayhem and the killings of certain extremists who are using Allahu Akbar to commit murder and barbarism. That is what you're supposed to do. Stay away. Come out and say, we do not represent this animosity, this murderous, blood-sucking tendency of these elements using Islam to promote hatred and kill people and divide the polity. Islam is all about peace. Islam is about unity. We represent the interest of peace and unity. But oh no, Do you know what some social media influencers are now tweeting? They're saying, so you people want President Donald Trump to come and wipe out Muslims in Nigeria. Like you're literally affiliating the terrorists and the terrorism to Islam. You're literally saying that those who have been committing these barbaric acts are practicing Islam. Is that what Islam preaches? Is that what Islam tells you to do? Whatever interest you think that the US has in Nigeria, all I know or all Nigerians know is protect the country for goodness sake. That is what you are supposed to do. Protect the country. There is no politicization about this. Don't call it Peter Obi. He's not your messiah. I am even happy that Peter Obi was not even declared the winner, because you people would have frustrated this man's government. You people would have ruined his government, and you would have blacklisted the Southeast for the rest of their generation. You have already said they will never rule. So fine, leave them out of it. You are in government. Do your job. That is what you are supposed to do. Do your job. You say Peter Obi will never rule Nigeria. Let him not even be part of it. I don't even want Peter Obi to slavery, both mental colonial slavery. They're not yet ready. When they're ready, they know what to do. But until then, I don't even want Peter Obi to be president. How is the problem of Nigeria an Igbo thing? How is Igbo wanting to disintegrate Nigeria? How does Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar factor into what is happening? Can you just imagine your thinking process? Can you imagine the erosion of your intellectual verbosity? You have no brain for you to be linking all of this to one or two individuals. There is a conspiracy here. There are certain politicians who are benefiting from the insecurity of this country. And our Nigerian security apparatus and structure, they are aware. Unfortunately, our military is politicized. The president knows this. How can you be negotiating with terrorists? Terrorists who have killed, maimed, raped, murdered, deserted, plundered, pillaged. You are settling with terrorists, and you are here calling Peter Obi and Atiku just because you're supporting the government, because of how much that the government is giving you. You people are insane, literally. I am gobsmacked at the thinking process of these influencers on social media, these APC urchins. This is a clarion call for you to ask the government of the day to wake up. Be responsible. They say the president is a CIA asset. If somebody is a CIA asset, how do you think the US president will want to topple his government when he's already a CIA asset? How? He's already an asset of the US. It was the CIA, the FBI, whatever, they said it that he's an asset. So please tell me, it means that the Nigerian government is working in collaboration with the United States of America. In other words, they have a diplomatic relation. And the funny thing is that we don't even have any Nigerian ambassador in the United States, because that is what they're supposed to do by having to clarify all of this. For the US to come up with this, they have their data. It is not a lie. They just want the president to sit up. Yes, there are conspiracy theories concerning the particular interests of the US on Nigeria's situation, because it has been happening since the administration of late Muhammadu Buhari, and they never targeted Nigeria, a country of particular concern. The Joe Biden administration was lackluster. And God knows the kind of Joe Biden and Obama administration, they knew what they were doing with the Nigerian government at the time. They didn't call out the bullshit. The president is a Muslim. The vice president is a Muslim. This is the time for the president to prove that the Muslim ticket is not about Islamization of Nigeria. The Muslim ticket is not about favoring a particular ethnic group or a religious group. No. The Muslim ticket is about transparency, accountability, and fairness and objectivity. That is what the administration of the president is supposed to prove. Not having to act as if you don't know what is happening and pretend like it's all politics. We knew how this president was when he was in opposition. We knew the extent he went during the Jonathan administration. Tinubu did a lot. They went as far back as ensuring that Jonathan never came back into power. Everything about the Nigerian government was politicized at the time. The insecurity was used as a tool to topple Jonathan's government. Do you know what Jonathan went through? So why are we pretending as if Tinubu did not do was? In fact, he's lucky. He's lucky. He has no opposition. He's so lucky because if it were Tinubu that was in opposition now and there was a different person in that government that Tinubu doesn't like, you need to know how Nigeria would have been raging. They would have sponsored protests. They would have done a lot of terrible things. The opposition has kept quiet. They didn't even use this as an advantage for themselves to promote whatever. They have been mute. That tells you that Tinubu has an understanding opposition. In fact, I even feel that the opposition is working for Tinubu because their quietness is something else. But still, these APC urchins are still calling them out. What are you calling them out for? Is it not the truth that Nigeria is going through an existential crisis? That there is insecurity? My colleague's sister was kidnapped last night in Lagos here. They removed all the money from her account. After removing the money, they pushed her away on one of the locations, Bagada, somewhere in Lagos. Pushed her out there. This lady cannot speak up till now. This is happening right here in Lagos. So what are you telling me? What are you people pretending not to know or do about this? Why are we not saying the truth? Why can't we for once see the truth and say it? Why must we always pretend and make it seem as if there is somebody targeting Tinubu's government? You have targeted Tinubu's government if you don't know. You have targeted his government. Call him out. Tell him to do the needful. Tell him to make sure that things are done right. Nobody is asking for we are all in this Nigeria. I'm not asking for the disintegration of Nigeria. I'm asking for us to move. But in order for us to move as one, we need to rout out the elements of darkness in this country. And it's the responsibility of those in government to do it. We have a leadership crisis, the leadership pandemic in Nigeria. Nigeria has gone through pervasive leadership pandemic. If we had the right leadership, I don't even think we need the assessment of the United States government. I don't even think we need them to speak on our behalf. We bullshit them and do our thing. So what are we discussing? What are we talking about here? Is it not the truth? Some Nigerians are saying, no, there is no terrorism in Nigeria. Some APC handles are tweeting that there is no Christian genocide. The worst part is that even Christians, pastors, who called out Jonathan, who said that there was an existential crisis on Christians in 2012, kept mute, kept quiet. They all kept quiet. Again, it's important that we get things in context. He says, and I read, the latest threat by US President Donald Trump to launch military action in Nigeria, allegedly to protect Christians, may sound or boots on the ground. Very true. What Nigeria truly needs is not a foreign savior, but legitimate, accountable leadership, one that protects all citizens, upholds justice, and ends the cycle of corruption and violence that have left the nation broken. And real Donald Trump does not care about Nigerians, not Christians, Muslim, or anyone else. Our deliverance will never come from abroad. It must come from within through real leadership, not the Tinubus of this world, and national renewal. That is what he said. Okay. Now, he also disclosed that it is imperative that Nigeria decides that it brings in true leadership. Until then, Nigeria will continue to be in this conundrum. Nigeria will continue to be in this doldrum. So, my people, please, I beg you, let's focus on the crux of the matter and not politicize what is going on. Hold the government of the day accountable. The government of the day should begin to make sure that with the disposition of the disposition of the old service chiefs and the renewal of his military cabinet right now, that their ultimate prerogative is to ensure that Wulo, ISWAP, Lakurawa, Mahmuda, Boko Haram, all of them are cleared out. And then the killings in the southeast, whether it is political, by internal political actors, by set indigenous people killing themselves, murdering themselves for whatever gain, the leadership should be held accountable. The president should make sure that the governors stop whatever thing is going on in the southeast where people are killing themselves. And if it is a political agenda to destabilize the southeast, it should stop. The killings in the southeast just started of recent in 2020. I think in 2019 thereabout, or 2020, yes, in 2021, 2022. The southeast was termed as one of the peaceful regions in Nigeria. One of the most peaceful regions in Nigeria. The killings in the Southeast started off during the administration of Muhammadu Buhari. We know the political agenda there. My people, wake up from your slumber. I love my country. And we are one in this nation. But until we begin to say the truth and be realistic with the reality on ground here, our leaders will continue to trample on us. We will continue to be slaves. When they are the ones to serve us, we are not the ones to serve them. The government should wake up to its responsibility. That's all. This is not Peter Obi. This is not Atiku Abubakar. This is not anything. The truth is that the killings in this country has gotten too much. Nigeria needs its peace. And true leadership needs to be called for. Simple. To see your comments. I hope that the network was favorable during this live, and I would implore you to please, basically just try as much as possible to share and let me know what you think based on the conversation that has been had. My name is Esther Machiku. I sincerely do apologize. Bye for now.